Did you know that 9 out of 10 coaches that start a niche coaching business fail? Hey, this is Jeffrey Suey with CoachesTrainingBlog.com, and I've worked with hundreds of new coaches who wanted to start a niche coaching business, but I almost always tell them not to. In this video, I'm going to cover why a niche coaching business doesn't work and what to do about it. We'll also talk about what to do before you identify your niche, the 2 things you need to know to get a smart answer to the question, what is my niche? The biggest problem that niche coaching businesses create for new coaches, and finally, how to find opportunity areas for finding new coaching clients. And I'll give you a hint, it's not a niche strategy. So let's start right now.
Well, right now it will just be working on, a couple of steps, before I start coaching, which is identifying my niche.
The most important thing, in my opinion, as you get started, is to get coaching. So if you're not coaching at this point, and you don't have a couple people that you're coaching, even if they're not like paying clients, if you're not consistently coaching clients, whether it's pro bono or paid, or you're not consistently at least running complimentary sessions to attempt to get clients, whether you're going to ask them to pay you or not, then figuring out your niche is way ahead. That's getting way ahead of yourself. Okay. Now the reason I say that is that you really don't probably know what your niche is at this point, and you probably don't have the references to make that decision in a long-term fashion. Now I'm not saying you can't focus on a market right now and say, here's the market I'm going to go after. Like, you could totally do that. But there's a big difference between that and actually making a niche selection that's going to have a business basis for the long term. Okay. And look, you can market to so many different types of people, right? But the question is not just could you do that? The question is that best for you? And are you going to have the staying power, the passion, the commitment to do that over the long term? And the other question is, can you really help those people? Because you maybe can get them as a client, but maybe you're not really that helpful. And that's not really a great business for somebody that really cares. And even if they didn't care, it's probably not going to be a very lasting business, because word gets around nowadays as well that not much of a difference has been made. So part of not the whole game, but part of the game of getting that niche clarified and doing it successfully for the long term, not just for the moment, is having a ton of results that you've been helping others produce. You found out what works and what doesn't work, who you're best suited for, what kind of difference you can make for them. So the results you produce and the people you can produce those results for. When you select a niche, those pieces of information, like who, answering the question who, and then the second area of what benefit do I provide them, like what do they want that they're willing to pay me for, those 2 questions are really critical in answering the question, like, what is my niche? And fully answering that question in a way that's truly going to help you for the long term, not just for a moment of getting you to do something. Okay, so where do those answers come from? For a coach, comes from coaching. And in fact, I just got out of a seminar yesterday, I think it was yesterday, where there's one of my mentors runs a $20 million a year coaching business, and he wasn't working. The webinar, the program was not for coaches. It was just for people running training businesses and information business, education businesses, and the like. And he said the first thing you need to do when you start these types of businesses where you're selling information, education, training, etc., not coaching, that stuff. He said the first thing you need to do is start getting coaching clients. He's telling people that are not coaches to get coaching clients. This guy runs $20 million in revenue a year, okay? Yeah, and I'm not going to get into too many reasons why, but my translation of what he explained is basically what I just told you, which is if you want to figure out your niche, the best and first thing you want to do, especially as a coach, if not as in other people helping type of industries like we're talking about here, is to go out and help people and figure out who can you fit with, who you're really excited to help, and who who is willing to pay for that, and what kind of help do they want from you. You're going to get so much from just that. And by the way, you can do that with all sorts of different people. If you want to focus that energy, that's great. I would just warn you, don't, just be careful of saying, well, I'm not going to ask that person to run a session with me because they're not in my niche. Because frankly, how do you know at this point? And if you start limiting that at this time, I think limitation is great when you're a marketer and when you're marketing on a large scale. You need to limit, you need to niche to some extent, or else you don't even know who you're selling to. And we're trying to be Tony Robbins when we're not, basically, and that time has passed. We can't necessarily all be the guru for at Barnes Noble anymore. So we need that niche at that point. But when you're just connecting with people over the phone, people that are friends, people that are just somehow you're networking with and connected to, having those limitations ends up sometimes, not for everybody, but for some coaches, it ends up being an excuse not to help, not to reach out and offer a session because you don't know how they'd respond, because you're not even sure how you're going to help them yet. And the fact is you don't get to be certain about that yet. You're in that time in your business where there is some uncertainty, and you got to dive into that uncertainty and say, I'm going to figure it out, and I'm just committed to helping as many people as I can in any way that I can. And I'll find all sorts of things I didn't even think about or I wasn't even expecting because I'm diving into that uncertainty and just finding something out because it's necessary at the time. So that's just my other observation in coaching for you around those outcomes specifically. Questions about that? Anything that doesn't make sense or anything that you wanted to cover around that before we move on?
No, it's crystal clear, more or less, that, I'm a beginner at coaching, so I can actually be whoever this person wants me to be. If, if they want to talk about relationship, career, help, I can help you.
Nice.
And once I'm able to get a market where I'm helping, then I can say, okay, now I just want to specialize in this area.
Yep. But
at this time, being a beginner, I can help whoever needs help, more or less.
Yeah. And again, that doesn't mean don't go niche or don't create, there's all sorts of cool things you could do to create niches and opportunities in niche areas, niche opportunities to go ahead and get a bunch of coaching clients. So if that comes up, like, go after, go for it. Just don't say no to anybody yet, because by the time you get niched, what happens is a lot of times we end up saying no to a lot, which is a good thing if that niche is successful. But if it's not yet successful, we just got to be careful trying to think that, okay, this is the way it's going to be, and that's going to be my business, because we just don't absolutely know. I mean, there's huge startup companies or actually well-established companies that are well-financed, they've got millions of dollars, and they're generating revenue, and they're still trying to figure out their business model or their customer or their niches and stuff like that. So for us, where we're just like people that can help, there's a good chance that we're still in that mode as well, and we don't want to let that stop us from going out there and making a difference today. That's the most important thing.
Okay, great. I got it, and crystal clear.
Awesome. Coaches that succeed tend towards specific opportunity areas. Okay, so what do I mean by an opportunity area? I don't really mean a niche per se. Because a community of people, like if you say, hey, I'm a sales coach, I work with salespeople, that's not a niche. Salespeople are not a niche. Salespeople are a community. A niche is an opportunity. People are not an opportunity, they're just people. Okay? So when we're talking about niches, we're really talking about a business opportunity within a community, and that doesn't articulate that just saying I work with salespeople. However, salespeople are an opportunity area for sure. I mean, it's an area where there are opportunities that are within that area, right? So if you think about communities that you're connected to, you may not have a list of those people, right? You may not say, I'm friends with all of them. Right? But you can say, you know what, I got a lot of experience in sales, and I could probably go work with a lot of salespeople and help them. I don't know these guys, but let's find some places to find them. I definitely have some networks I could tap into, and others that I should probably hit up and locate. I've got a long-time mentoring client I've worked with for years, and she works with salespeople, and half of her clients, probably more than half of her clients, probably like 3/4 of them, came from Facebook. All right. How did she find that? It wasn't Facebook wasn't like the source of opportunity for her. Facebook was just the place that she found her opportunity area. And since she worked with salespeople, she tapped into people that worked for direct sales organizations, and she would direct message them, and she would get, I mean, a lot of people have their phone number on Facebook, and she would just call them. She would call these people and say, hey, I saw you on Facebook, and I see you're working with Norwax, and I want to talk about some of the things that I've been doing with some of the distributors in that area. Maybe there might be an opportunity for us to either work together or share some information that would really make a difference for your downline and for your group, right? Simple conversation, and just started contacting people within an opportunity area. Okay, there are plenty of coaches who work with people in the personal growth opportunity area. How would you find people in a personal growth opportunity area? That's not hard. Go to seminars. Basically, every weekend there is Tony Robbins or Brian Tracy or Byron Katie or Landmark or some organization that is really, it's just a ton of people showed up at a location, hundreds if not thousands. All they care about is their own personal growth and some eureka aha moments that are going to come from that. And they spent thousands of dollars and many, many hours to be at that place. That is, there's your community right there. It's a huge opportunity area. There's plenty. I know plenty of coaches. The way that they get all of their clients, not just some, like 100% of their clients, is they just go staff seminars, and they get paid nothing to staff the seminars. It's like, how can you just travel around with Tony Robbins just like working as his servant? Well, the secret is that they get in front of all these people as a result, and these people have spent like $10,000 to hang out with Tony Robbins or go to one of his seminars or get a tape set or something, and Tony's not going to coach them, right? So they're sitting there and trying to use a seminar to get what only a coach could probably give them. See the disconnect? It's like these guys marketing seminars, a lot of the people that take that marketing up like, this is what's going to help me, they don't have a clue that that's not going to help them, right? They don't realize they need somebody to personally hold their hand through the transformational process, right? So they show up at the seminar, they've spent money, time, etc. They start to realize this is enough for them later on in the seminar, and guess who just happens to be there? A coach. And that coach who's there for free, paid his own travel and put himself up in a hotel and all that kind of stuff to be there, is there saying, hey, well, what's the challenge? Okay, well, tell me about that. And then all of a sudden he just starts coaching. There's like no sales involved there. He's just helping. By the end of that conversation, he's probably already transformed that individual. And what is that individual going to say at that point, realizing that this guy who he spent nothing to talk to was more valuable than the $5,000 seminar he just attended? He's going to say, please, can I get your card? Let's connect. I need to, get more advice from this, and we don't have time right now because I got to go back to the seminar, right? Or you could even provide that. That's a huge opportunity area that tons of coaches are working with. And in fact, if you step into those areas, and it's an area that's probably ripe with opportunity, you're probably going to meet some of those coaches. You're going to rub some elbows with them, and which is great, because then you can just learn how they do it and you can copy from them. That said, we also have videos that cover exactly how we have done that and how some of our students have done that as well, literally attending seminars and utilizing that kind of parasitic type of marketing to generate clients from that. And there's other opportunities that come there as well. So those are just thinking about opportunity areas. Now, if you can, and that's not really a niche, it's just like generally like what communities do I think there are people that might want coaching, right? That's a much more vague idea, but it's enough to give you some direction with where might you find these people. Then you just have to answer the question, where are they, where do they hang out, where are they most likely to buy coaching or get involved with somebody like me, etc.
So once again, this is Jeffrey Suey, and I hope you took some great value out of this video today. What's your experience with a niche coaching business? Have you found an opportunity area for getting paying coaching clients? Why or why not? What's your plan now that you've watched this video? I'd love to hear your feedback, so make sure you leave a comment with your thoughts or questions. And look, thanks for watching this video. Like it if you thought it was cool, and subscribe for even more of these videos. Oh, and by the way, you can grab your own free step-by-step 30 days to become a coach video toolkit Just go to coachestrainingsblog.com right now to get your 30-day coaching blueprint videos. You'll learn how to change your client's life in 45 minutes, other advanced coaching and practice building techniques, and more. Just go to the link I give you here and in the description, and you can get it instantly. And I look forward to connecting with you there.